Welcome back to the 49 Willys pickup project. We have been working hard to get to this point. Everything is in primer now. It's in high build. We're blocking, touching up a few last spots. Got the hood, fenders there. Back over here we get the box and a whole bunch of odds and ends. Tailgate back in here. Fender, grill, and doors. So just a little more blocking and one coat of epoxy sealer and we move on to paint, and that's what we're going to be doing this episode, is putting this thing into color. Pretty excited. Paint day has finally arrived. I'm going to call this day one of paint day. So I think I've got everything ready. We cranked up the temp in here. It's at, I don't know if you can see that right now, it's at 71. So I set it at 70, so we got just the right conditions. And I've got, basically today we're going to be working on the back half of the truck. So everything related to the part behind the cab. So we've got both of the fenders here ready to go, the box, got the tailgate, the steps, and those skirt panels. Now this is in its final coat of primer, so I put a coat of epoxy primer on here as sealer. And we can go straight over the top of this now with paint. So let's get rolling. Before we lay down that paint, I just remembered I have not mentioned what color we're going with. So let me take you back to about a year ago, and one of my early videos when we were just looking over this truck, and there's a clue in there. The paint, I think what I want to do is just kind of strip this thing, and I do like the color of the doors. I have been painting for a while, so here's your next color clue. All right, there's our paint. 1 gallon of green paint. And for anybody that's curious, there's our PPG number. We matched up as close as we could to a factory green for Jeep, and I think we nailed it. All right, our first coat is down. There's no runs. Everything is looking pretty good. We're about ready to shoot our second coat now. And I'll come back once we get that down and see how it looks. Yesterday, April 1st, was our first day of painting. Today's April 2nd, so I'm going to run down and kind of look and see where we're at once that paint has had a little time to cure. Sure, it's beautiful out here. Be nice if this was over, but that's kind of how it goes sometimes in the spring. This is what we finished up on day one of painting. The box is 100% done. The tailgate is 100% done. The fenders are going to need one more coat for a couple of reasons. Number one, there was just a few spots that were still a little bit light. There was also some paint runs, so we just decided to stop on that, let it cure. I'll wet sand those out, and then the next time we lay down paint, we'll hit these with one more coat. And the other thing you'll notice is these fenders look a little bit on the dull side, and I think that is because when we were spraying the box, these fenders were in the background, and I think they got overspray and it dulled things out. So we have to keep that in mind as we go forward painting more items here. And then we stopped on all these side panels and the steps as well. I found a hair in one and a little bit of dust, and we decided just to hold off on that. And again, I'll wet sand those and get them all squared away. When Guy was here for the first day of painting, he told me, and I quote, "The hardest thing is going to be painting the garnish moldings because they're so tough to hang and handle." So I took a minute, went into the wood shop, and I just made up some little wood bases that would prop these up so we could hit all sides without working too hard. All right, we're about halfway through the paint job. I'm kind of hoping we're maybe a little more than halfway, but I'm hoping we're no more than halfway through the paint. So what's left now is the front fenders, the cab inside and out. I already got a start on the underside of the hood so that when Guy comes out today, we can just flip this over. I did this yesterday, so it's good to go. Did the back of the grill, the underside of a bunch of pieces. And let me show you one other thing. I was trying to figure out how do we manage all of this stuff. I would really like to get it all painted today if we can. But we got limited space, and I was also wondering about those doors. How are we going to get those painted? They're, propped up. I don't have any fancy stands. So I thought, why not just bolt them to the wall? So I just took a couple of 2x4s and bolted those to the door hinges, and then screwed the 2x4s to the wall. And put plastic behind there to save the wall, but now we can just shoot these right on the wall. Let me see if I can show you this real quick. Again, I already did the inside of the doors. So all that's left now is just to get paint on the outside of them. I think this is going to work pretty well. All right, welcome back to the end of day 2 of painting. It was really only about a half a day here that we spent painting. And we stopped because we ran out of paint. So we've been through a whole gallon now. And I've got one more coat that we have to do on the cab. Haven't even touched the doors on the outside yet, or the hood, or the front fenders. So it looks like it's going to be another gallon. I don't think a quart is going to do the job. But this room is becoming the green zone, and I'm pretty happy with how things are looking. And we'll be back probably at the end of day 3 and show you how things turned out. This is day 3 of painting, so we're just about ready to get started. We got another gallon of paint coming, and we're going to hit the cab with one more coat to get a good shine on it. We still got hood and fenders and grill and doors to do. And when Guy left on Monday, he said I should really clean out that bay, get it as dust-free as I can. And one other thing I did on there, just because of the fumes, I set it up with, I've got a box fan out here, and I'm kind of blocking off the other part of the door. We can lift the door up just a little bit. We'll get some airflow there, and then I cut a hole into my plastic here, put a furnace filter to draw air, and then I'll just crack a window open so we get some flow through here. But hopefully that will be a little bit easier on us from a fume point of view. And let's see what else. I did sweep out and vacuum in here, so this is all clean. Even though it still looks green, that's permanent now. And then instead of trying to sweep dust and stuff off of this plastic, I just threw another layer on top of that. So I think this is as dust free as we can get it. So we're going to get started. Okay, that's it. We're officially done with painting. We got another coat on the cab now, and that is done. Hood is painted. Both front fenders are done. The doors are done, and they're just going to hang there. I don't need to move those. This is probably as good a place to store them until I'm ready to put them on as any. There's our grill and all the other little parts and pieces. So glad to be done with this. And our fan that we stuck here in the garage door along with our furnace filter really cleared the fumes out of here. It was a lot more pleasant doing this painting round on our day 3 of painting than it was on day 1 and day 2. So that's it, gang. I think the next video you see in about a week, I don't know if I'll put the video out in a week, but next week we're going to take that cab and put it on the frame. I think that's it. I think we got the paint out of the way. So in the next episode, the cab is going on the frame. This is what we're going to use to do it right here. I'm going to close this out now with some before and after pictures. You can kind of see the journey here from where this started to where the bodywork is now. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time.